Hello everyone, I'm Raven from Raven Comics, and in today's video, we'll look at when Batman met his father and they fought together. All I ever wanted was to save my son. Bruce died in front of my eyes in an alley. A man shot him. Afterward, I beat that man to death. My name is Thomas Wayne, and I am Batman. The war between Aquaman and Wonder Woman spread across the earth. A man called Flash came to me. He said this reality I was living in was a lie, caused accidentally. All of this happened because he traveled back in time to save his mother. By doing that, the timeline was completely affected. The lives close to him were no longer the same. In his timeline, Bruce wasn't supposed to be shot. Flash gave me hope for the first time since I lost my son. I put all my faith in him to change everything back to how it was supposed to be. That way, Bruce could live, and I would die along with this nightmare-filled world. Flash told me that on that night, Martha and I were supposed to die in the alley. 2 gunshots separated me from my son forever. Tonight that ends, I'll be the one to pull the trigger to return to my son. We start with Thomas Wayne. He's in the Batcave. Due to everything that's happened in the past, he's ready to leave this world if it means seeing his son again. There are several bombs placed around different parts of the cave. He's about to detonate them, but before he does, he hears strange noises. Batman and Flash have just arrived at the Batcave. The Bat says he'd recognize this place anywhere. He was here for the first time as a child. From behind, Thomas Wayne silently observes them. This is the gun that was used to shoot his parents. He doesn't understand what's happening. Bruce never recovered that gun. Where could they be? Thomas Wayne approaches from behind and says, "I did all of this for you, son." Bruce turns around. In front of him is his father. Of course, he can't believe what's happening. Thomas asks if it's really him. Then he turns to Barry and asks what's going on. Flash doesn't know either. Thomas thinks this must be some kind of trick, a cruel joke. Barry tells him it's none of that. This isn't a trick or a joke. This is Bruce Wayne, his son. Thomas becomes upset and says this isn't real. Then he grabs Flash by the neck, about to strike him. Flash uses his speed to avoid harm and says this isn't right. Barry fixed the timeline months ago, and this line was repaired. Since he traveled back in time, this timeline should no longer exist. But someone else, an unknown force, kept Flashpoint intact. Batman and Flash were trying to trace this manipulator when they suddenly appeared here. Meanwhile, several Atlanteans and Amazons break into Wayne Manor. They begin to destroy everything. Flash explains that everything he just said is hard to understand, but whatever's happening, this is Bruce Wayne, Thomas's son. He then tells Bruce that the man in front of him is his father, Thomas Wayne. The vibrational frequencies here are correct. This isn't an alternate world or timeline. This is their Earth. Batman and Flash are home. Barry still wonders how this is possible. Flashpoint was never an alternate world, but rather an alternate story that should no longer exist. The temporary Earth is being held together here, just like the visions they had when traveling through time. Something or someone is holding it all together. This is a ghost of a world, and someone is using it to torment them. Thomas Wayne speaks to his son, asking why he won't look at him. Since arriving, Bruce hasn't said a word to his parents. Flash says he needs to rebuild the cosmic treadmill. He needs it to work to fix all of this. Thomas tells him to do it as quickly as possible. Flash says he'll fix it in a minute. Thomas says he doesn't have a minute. Flash asks why not. The answer is simple. The Atlanteans and Amazons have entered the Batcave. They say that, by order of King Arthur of Atlantis and Queen Diana of Themyscira, the Bat must die. Thomas immediately draws his weapons and tells Flash and Bruce they must leave while he holds them off. Flash needs to repair the treadmill. Bruce throws a batarang to disarm Thomas, saying they'll get out of this together. Thomas says no. The only ones who need to leave are Barry and Bruce. An Atlantean is about to attack Bruce, but Bruce counters with a strong punch. Then he asks his father if the cave is equipped with defenses for this kind of invasion. Thomas says no, he was never the visionary type. That was always Martha, so they'll have to handle this by fighting. The 2 bats put on their masks. Before fighting, Bruce says he has questions about the letter his father wrote him. Thomas says he also has many questions, but for now, they need to focus on fighting. It's time for action. Father and son fight side by side. While Bruce deals with an Amazon, Thomas lands a heavy punch on an Atlantean. As they keep fighting, Barry repairs the treadmill. Despite his speed, Barry always takes a while to finish things. Finally, Barry fixes it. The cosmic treadmill is in working order. As Bruce continues to battle Atlanteans, Thomas tells him that the last time they were together in this cave, Bruce was just a boy. Then he asks if Bruce remembers what he said when he carried him out of the cave. Bruce says he barely heard it. That's because Thomas whispered it in his ear. He didn't want the bats to scare him. This tender moment is interrupted by Flash, who announces that the treadmill is ready. It's time to go. Suddenly, something strange happens. Cities across the world start to disintegrate. Flash explains that the force keeping Flashpoint in place is gradually retiring. Before anything else happens, Bruce tells his father that the letter he sent him is the greatest gift anyone has ever given him. After reading it, Bruce realized he would never have the chance to respond to his father. But if he could, there's one thing he would say above all else. Thomas Wayne is a grandfather. Bruce has a son. Flash, in great desperation, tells Bruce that the treadmill is at its maximum power, and this is happening without him running on it. If they don't leave right now, the treadmill will leave without them. Bruce doesn't listen and instead asks his father to leave with him. His father simply turns his back on him. Out of nowhere, Thomas Wayne turns around and pushes Bruce, causing him to fall onto the treadmill. Flash immediately catches him. Meanwhile, the cities continue to crumble. Thomas Wayne asks Flash to promise him that he will save his son. Batman, in great desperation, tries to grab his father's hand. Barry holds onto Bruce tightly and refuses to let him escape. At the same time, he begs Dr. Wayne to escape with them. Thomas simply tells his son, "You are my world." The moment he saw Bruce again, he realized that every choice he had made was the right one. Because of those choices, Bruce is alive. Thomas tells him that he is the greatest gift this life has ever given him. Then he asks Bruce to stop being Batman. He wants his son to find happiness. He doesn't have to wear the cape and cowl, not for what happened to his father or for his mother. Bruce needs to be a father to his son in the way Thomas never was for him. Finally, he tells him, "Let Batman die with me." Despite everything he's just heard, Bruce insists on saving his father and asks him once more to come with them. Suddenly, Bruce and Barry are gone. Thomas Wayne remains in the Batcave. He simply says, "They did it." Thomas still holds the detonator in his hand. Then he throws it against the wall. The destruction of that reality reaches Wayne Manor. Dr. Wayne recalls what happened years ago when little Bruce fell into the cave and his father went after him. When Thomas pulled him out of that place, he whispered words into his ear. Bruce asked why he did that. Thomas said it was because he didn't want to scare the bats. "Sometimes we fall, son, but always remember, the Waynes never give up. They always rise." The Batcave begins to fill with a bright white light. Thomas Wayne slowly vanishes into it. We return to Flash and Batman. Batman says there must be a way to go back for his father. Barry tells him it's not possible. That reality no longer exists. There's nothing left to return to. Whatever they left behind is gone. Flash urges Batman to look around. The temporal stream is trying to wipe them both out. For some reason, the trail of the button led them to that place. Flash believes they can stop whoever is playing with the timelines, but they need to hurry. Batman notes that the button arrived in the Batcave and then took him to his father. It's all so confusing for the Bat. Batman doesn't understand why they were sent to a place only to have it destroyed in front of them. Flash doesn't understand either. He thinks whoever is behind this is toying with them. Sending them to Flashpoint might have been an attempt to emotionally harm them. Suddenly, Reverse Flash, Professor Zoom, approaches from behind and overtakes them. He wonders how Flash managed to find and catch up with him. Flash can't believe Professor Zoom is alive. Recall that he was killed in the previous issue. Batman notices that Zoom is holding the button. What they're witnessing is before Reverse Flash was killed. Barry mentions that the temporal stream must have brought them to this moment. Flash tells Professor Zoom to stop. If he keeps running along this line, he will die. Professor Zoom dismisses the warning. My future? Like the day you broke my neck or the night Batman's father stabbed me with a sword. Threats mean nothing to me. Zoom retorts. I'm a living paradox. For me, there is no future or past. It only exists if I choose to piece it together. Their argument is interrupted as a massive blue lightning bolt strikes them. It seems to target Reverse Flash specifically. Fortunately for him, he isn't harmed. The attack appears to end. Barry knows something bad is about to happen and again begs Zoom to stop. Professor Zoom remains defiant, saying the last time he manipulated Barry's life was when he killed his mother. After that, Barry spiraled into despair, though he eventually emerged from it. When Professor Zoom gains the power of whoever is behind all this, he promises to make Flash's torment far greater. Suddenly, Batman hears a voice. He feels someone calling out to him. Barry hears nothing. Barry explains that any visions they see or voices they hear are from moments they might have lived. Barry himself has heard Iris and his mother before. All those sounds come from hypertime, so Batman must ignore those voices. Otherwise, he could get lost in time. Batman insists that his father was no vision, that everything he saw was real. The Reverse Flash tells Barry he has an idea. He will go back to the moment Barry's mother died, then become a neighbor or friend, raising Barry as his own. The Reverse Flash declares he will become Barry's father. Suddenly, the cosmic treadmill begins to break apart. Flash urges Batman to hold on tightly. Batman says they need to stop, but Flash insists they first must catch the Reverse Flash before he gets killed. The path ends abruptly, and the Reverse Flash stands at its conclusion. As always, Flash arrives too late. The Reverse Flash declares that after gaining ultimate power, erasing Barry's existence will be effortless. The scene shifts to a bizarre location, seemingly in space. The Reverse Flash cries out. He taunts the unknown entity, saying he can sense its presence through a powerful static charge, something he has never encountered before. The Reverse Flash admits the entity has manipulated timelines in strange ways, hiding behind them. However, he boasts that while others can be erased, his existence is the one constant in a sea of possibilities. Boldly, he commands the entity to show itself. But his confidence wavers. The entity manifests, and with a shocked expression, the Reverse Flash exclaims, "Oh my God!" Realizing who stands before him, he pleads for mercy. "Stop, please. I didn't know it was you. I don't want to die." Suddenly, his body begins to emit smoke. A bright blue flash strikes him, burning half his body. The button in his hand is ripped away. Meanwhile, Batman and Flash find themselves stranded as the treadmill malfunctions. Batman hears a scream, and Flash deduces it belongs to the Reverse Flash, now gone. A mysterious voice calls out, "Barry, I'm here." A vortex pulls them in. Flash warns that if the treadmill isn't working, they cannot escape. Batman urges Barry to listen to the voice and follow it. But Barry resists, unsure of where it might lead. Batman insists they have no other choice. The unknown entity reveals itself, saying, "Just say my name." Barry hesitates before uttering the name. The cosmic treadmill shatters completely, and Garrick, the original Flash, emerges. He had been trapped in the Speed Force and finally breaks free to rescue them. Using his power, Jay carries them out of the collapsing dimension and returns them to the Batcave. Back in the Batcave, the scorched body of the Reverse Flash lies before them, and they find themselves at the starting point of their journey. Barry questions Jay, asking if he was the one who killed the Reverse Flash and what his motives are. Jay denies any wrongdoing, insisting, "I'm your friend, Barry. Remember me, just like you remembered Wally West." Barry recalls forgetting many people and events, asking if Jay knows who caused all of this. Jay admits he lost everything and doesn't know how or why. When Barry grabs his arm to connect, Jay is struck by a powerful blue lightning bolt. Both Batman and Flash are knocked back, helplessly watching as Jay disappears. Barry, distraught, recognizes the event as similar to Wally's disappearance. Batman theorizes Jay may have come from a timeline that no longer exists, just like his father. Later, at the graves of Thomas and Martha Wayne, Bruce tells Barry that he is the only person who understands his loss, having also faced moments of hope and alternative possibilities. This experience was cruel, Bruce admits. Barry sees it as a gift, questioning if it was the work of the Reverse Flash or simply a temporal anomaly. Perhaps that's why Bruce's father and Jay disappeared. They were erased from reality. Bruce, however, disagrees. His father didn't disappear, he died. Barry suggests his father's death may have set these events in motion, leaving no trail to follow. Though Barry wants to close the case, Bruce declares it far from over. Barry quips, "So, the prime suspect in Reverse Flash's death is God?" Bruce says that for now, that's their only lead. As they leave the cemetery, Batman ponders the encounter with his father. Why was he given the chance to see him, only to lose him again? The original Flash claimed to be their friend, yet they couldn't save him either. The Reverse Flash's final words, claiming to have seen God, linger in Bruce's mind. None of this could have been an accident. The scene shifts to Wayne Manor. Bruce recalls his father's words, "Don't be Batman. Find happiness. Don't do it for me or your mother. Let Batman die with me." The bat signal illuminates the sky, but Bruce stands motionless by the window. Alfred enters, asking if he will respond to the call, but Bruce remains silent. Elsewhere, the button lies on the ground amidst a quiet stillness. A blue glow appears, and a radiant blue hand picks it up. A voice asks, "Why are you so fascinated by my perception of time? Everything is in order, even my answers. We're all puppets, Laurie. I'm just a puppet who can see the strings." Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm TJ Prime, and see you in the next video.